Clorox is a good example of a defensive consumer staples business that the market once priced for certainty, then sharply repriced when that certainty broke down. In the pandemic era, investors were willing to pay a premium for bleach, disinfecting, and household staples because demand looked unusually strong and durable. In hindsight, that was one of the market's big mistakes. It capitalized peak demand as if it were normal demand. Then the opposite happened. The August 2023 cyber attack, followed by ERP-related shipment distortion in fiscal 2025 and 2026, reminded investors that even a boring staples company can suffer real operational volatility. But Clorox also had real successes. Fiscal 2025 gross margin rose to 45.2%, adjusted EPS reached $7.72, and operating cash flow climbed to $981 million as cost savings and recovery actions took hold. Today the stock looks much less loved. Clorox is trading around $101.14, with a trailing P/E of about 16.1x. Against management's fiscal 2026 adjusted EPS outlook of $5.95 to $6.30, the stock is trading at roughly 16 to 17x forward earnings. The quarterly dividend is $1.24, or $4.96 annualized, which puts the yield near 4.9% at the current price. For a company that historically often attracted a much richer multiple because of brand strength, resilience, and dividend dependability, that is a meaningful derating. The market is no longer paying up for Clorox as a premium safe haven. It is pricing it more like a mature business that has to prove earnings quality again. The reason the multiple is compressed is not that the brand stopped mattering. It is that fiscal 2026 is messy. In Q2 FY 2026, net sales fell 1% to $1.67 billion, organic sales were down 1%, and gross margin slipped to 43.2% from 43.8%. Management kept full-year guidance, but said results were likely to land toward the lower end because earlier order fulfillment problems caused consumption and market share losses. That is the key issue around the current price. Investors are asking whether this is a temporary transition year or evidence that Clorox has become a slower, less predictable earnings story. Looking forward, the valuation debate is becoming more interesting. On one hand, the Gojo acquisition, completed on April 1, 2026, adds Purell, expands Clorox's health and hygiene exposure, supports its long-term 3% to 5% sales growth target, and is expected to bring at least $50 million of run-rate cost synergies, with EPS neutral in year 1 and accretive in year 2. On the other hand, the deal is being funded primarily with debt, so the market will want proof that Clorox can integrate Gojo cleanly while stabilizing the legacy business. My view is that today's valuation already reflects a lot of disappointment. If management restores cleaner organic growth and shows that Gojo improves the quality of the portfolio, the stock can re-rate higher. But until that happens, Clorox will likely remain a show-me staples name rather than regain its old premium multiple. Let's go straight into the risks, because with Clorox, the question in 2026 is not whether consumers still need bleach, trash bags, cat litter, or water filters. The real question is whether the company can stabilize demand, protect margins, and execute cleanly while the business is going through operational change and portfolio expansion. The biggest risk is volume pressure. In fiscal Q2 2026, net sales fell 1%, household sales fell 6%, lifestyle sales fell 5%, and management said earlier order fulfillment issues led to consumption and market share losses that keep full-year expectations near the low end of guidance. Reuters also noted pressure from shoppers trading down to cheaper alternatives. The second major risk is execution around the ERP transition. Clorox has described fiscal 2026 as being distorted by inventory shipped ahead of consumption before the US ERP implementation. Management said that retailer inventory drawdown should create about a 7.5-point sales headwind this year and reduce EPS by about 90 cents. Even though the final US ERP phase was completed in January, that does not automatically remove the risk. These kinds of transitions can still create friction in forecasting, replenishment, retailer relationships, and on-shelf availability, and in a staples business, even short disruptions can hurt share. Another major risk is margin pressure from costs and competition. In Q2, gross margin fell 60 basis points, mainly because of higher manufacturing and logistics costs. Clorox's 10-K is also very clear that lower-priced private label products can pressure sales mix and profitability, while large retailers can demand lower pricing, higher trade discounts, and more promotional support. That combination matters. If cost inflation stays stubborn while branded pricing power weakens, earnings can compress faster than investors expect. Then there is the added complexity from Gojo. Clorox is acquiring Gojo for $2.25 billion and plans to fund the deal primarily through debt. Management sees long-term strategic benefits, but the deal is expected to be neutral to adjusted EPS in year one, which means the near-term burden falls on execution. If the core business remains soft, a debt-funded acquisition can reduce flexibility. And investors should not forget cyber risk either. Clorox's 2025 10-K says the August 2023 cyber attack materially affected the business, and the company remains regularly exposed to cyber threats and security breaches. Clorox's 2026 risks are less about brand relevance and more about stacked execution pressure. Softer branded demand, ERP-related disruption, margin volatility, retailer pressure, and a larger balance sheet commitment all hitting at the same time. Now the opportunity side, because with Clorox, the upside is not just about waiting for a defensive stock to bounce back. The real opportunity is that the company may be building a better business mix than the market is currently giving it credit for. In the short term, the biggest opportunity is simple. Reported results should look cleaner once the ERP distortion is behind the company. Management said the major drag on fiscal 2026 is transitory and tied to retailer inventory movements around the system change, while the final US ERP phase was successfully completed in January. That matters because when a temporary operational distortion rolls off, investors can start focusing again on the underlying business rather than noisy comparisons. Second, health and wellness looks like a real source of upside. In Q2, that segment still delivered sales growth, helped by strong professional product shipments, and management continues to position Clorox around health, hygiene, and well-being. That is important because this is already one of Clorox's stronger areas, and it gives the company a more attractive growth profile than a pure slow-growth household staple story. A third short-term lever is innovation. Clorox highlighted multiple launches across the portfolio, including Clorox Pure, new Scent Eva bleach offerings, Glad ForceFlex Max Strength Leak Guard bags, and new Burt's Bees products. For a staples company, that matters because better innovation can improve mix, support shelf space, and help the company earn better pricing without relying only on broad inflation. Longer term, the biggest upside is clearly Purell. Clorox completed the Gojo acquisition on April 1st, adding a category leader with nearly $800 million in annual sales, more than 80% of revenue tied to a broad B2B distributor network, and roughly 20 million installed soap and sanitizer dispensers that support recurring demand. Clorox also says the deal supports its long-term 3% to 5% sales growth target, should generate at least $50 million of run-rate cost synergies, and should become EPS accretive in year 2. So the upside framework is clear: cleaner comparisons, stronger execution in health and wellness, innovation that improves the core business, and a bigger platform in professional and institutional hygiene. If Clorox delivers on that mix shift, the stock can gradually be valued less like a troubled staple and more like a higher quality health and hygiene compounder. Looking at analyst ratings, the message is pretty cautious. Clorox has 0 strong buy ratings, only 2 buys, 14 holds, 2 sells, and 1 strong sell. So this is clearly not a stock the street sees as a high conviction idea right now. What that tells us is that analysts still respect the business, but they are not ready to fully trust the earnings story. Clorox has strong brands, defensive categories, and a long history of cash generation, which is why the stock is not being treated like a broken company. But at the same time, the large number of hold ratings shows that most analysts want more proof before becoming more bullish. The market is likely waiting to see cleaner execution, more stable organic performance, and evidence that recent strategic moves actually improve the quality of the business over time. Until that happens, analysts seem to view Clorox as stable, but not especially exciting. Clorox is currently seen as a wait-for-proof stock, resilient enough to avoid broad bearishness, but not strong enough yet to inspire major conviction.